So where do you fall on a spectrum of the Matrix movies being good or bad? I'm kind of on the fence.
I like them. I think they made a few mistakes, but they're watchable.
You mean the first two are watchable?
There's bits of the third one.
Bits. The Matrix Reloaded is certainly a movie. That much we can all agree on. And while the quality of the film's story may be contentious, pretty much everyone is in agreement that the action scenes are awesome. But did you know that one of them made Hugo Weaving realise he was going bald? I'm of course talking about the Burly Brawl. Yes, that scene where Keanu Reeves uses Punch Fu to kill endless waves of Hugo Weaving actually made Agent Smith realise he was losing his hair.
No, it's not fair.
Oh man, that scene's awesome. Do you know what my favourite bit about that scene is? Is the game, The Matrix, The Path of Neo, which is a terrible game, but they have that fight in it. And you can do the thing where you put the pole in the ground and run around it. And I always wanted someone to make that video, but put over the sound clip of Homer doing this thing where he spins on the floor in that episode where Lisa needs braces. So do that for me, so when I watch this back later, I can be like, yeah. According to Weaving, up until he recorded that scene, he always assumed he had a fairly decent head of hair, even commenting that he used to look at himself in the mirror and think, yeah, that looks alright. Presumably while saying under his breath, I'd still do me. This all changed though when Weaving came into work one morning and saw several extras staring back at him wearing his own face.
That's a bit creepy.
Yeah, what they did is they made a couple of masks of his face and they had extras and in some scenes mannequins wear them for the background of shots, and then actors closer to the front of the screen would have his face CGI'd onto theirs. So they used a combination of those two things to give the illusion that there was like a dozen Hugo Weavings at any one point in time. Like during one of the behind the scenes featurettes, he just sat down talking to the camera and there's like 7 mannequins behind him, all with his face and sunglasses on, and he just doesn't give a fuck. He just sat there talking to the camera.
Most of my scenes are either with Keanu or with me.
But imagine that, what a weird thing to go into work one day. It's like Hugo Weaving's walking in, like, all right, what am I doing today? Punching Keanu Reeves. Yeah, also you do it with these guys. Oh, these dressed like, oh my God. And it's just his face staring back at him.
So is this where the thing about his hair came about?
Yes, well what happened is, obviously the mask had his hairstyle, but what really sold it for him is when he went to the stuntmen who'd had their hairstyle to look exactly like his, so they could CGI Hugo Weaving's face onto theirs, and he saw for the first time his own head, basically, from the side, and he noticed that obviously like, it's been receding here where he couldn't see, and there's a behind the scenes thing where he goes, yeah, I always thought I had a pretty decent head of hair. And then I saw this guy and was like, look at this! And he's just pointing at this guy, because obviously this dude obviously had a full head of hair, and then the makeup department's just shaved his hair all the way up here.
Look how far it's gone.
And the guy's clearly like, oh God, I fucking hate this. And he's laughing about it, and Hugo Weaving's just there going, what is this? What is going on here? This like young stunt actor who just had like these big massive receding hairlines shaved into his own head.
Well, I realize how far my hair's receded.
Oh man, that must be weird though, because it gives him a chance for like, how many people can see their own head from the side? Just the idea that that morning he turned to work, he did his hair and went, yeah, like probably in the makeup chair before the scene started going, yeah, that was pretty good. And he gets to set and the first thing he sees is this guy sat having his lunch and he noticed from the side, just this massive missing patch of his head and he goes, oh man, he's supposed to look like me, isn't he? Oh no. It's like, no. Oh God, I love the idea as well when all those guys turn up for work that morning and they all sat in the makeup chair and they're all stood outside like kids who've been punished because all their hair's been shaved off. Just stood there going, oh, I guess I've got no hair now.
So is Hugo Weaving upset about it?
Kind of. He takes it in his stride. You can see in the behind the scenes featurette, he laughs about it, but it's obviously the first time that he truly realised that obviously he's getting older and he's not the young man he once was. But he does laugh about it, which is kind of creepy when you think about it, because he's dressed like Agent Smith and surrounded by people with his own face. If you look at some of them, they are horrific. A couple of them look super realistic and obviously they use CGI to smooth it all out. Then there's some of them, it's like, why would you even wear this? This guy looks like a melted candle. It looks like a melted Hugo Weaving candle that someone just stuck to their face. It's awful.
Funny if they all went out for coffee.
Can you imagine that? Not even wearing the mask, just the guys who had the hair shade to look like him. I always wonder what happens with stuff like that. Did you hear, like, was it behind the scenes of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies? They melted all the Hobbit feet, didn't they? To stop fans stealing them. I do wonder what happened to those masks after the scene ended. Like, because they cost a lot of money to make. And you can probably commit a lot of crimes wearing a Hugo Weaving mask. And especially one that's supposed to be like almost lifelike. I'm surprised there wasn't a spate of robberies in the region they were filming that. Just of like, Hugo Weaving has been accused of robbing yet another gas station in America this evening. You could get the entire burglary outfit from the set. You get the suit, you get the sunglasses, you get the gun. What you should have done, you should have robbed it wearing his own mask. So when they come up to him and they say, did you rob his place? It was like, you look at the image, it's clearly a guy wearing a mask.
There's that clever Comic Con where
Brian Cranston.
Yeah, Cranston went wearing his own face.
He wore a mask of his own face. There's lots of stories like that. I think my favourite is when Hugh Jackman, what he did is he went to Comic Con and he dressed as Wolverine in the costume. And he had the hair shaved and everything, he was in shape, and he went to Comic Con and he said only one person stopped him during the entire trip, and it was one guy who took one look at him and just went, too tall.
Whoa, way too tall, buddy, way too.
So Brad, I've got a challenge for you, because these masks, some of them were, like, literally, they were lifelike. They were perfect moulds of Hugo Weaving's face. Some of them weren't, and these were used in the background of scenes that you weren't really supposed to notice. And you can tell because they don't move at all and they look like horrific burn melted face people. And some of them are on mannequins right in the background of crowd scenes. Your challenge for the viewer at home is to find a clip that shows this and put it after this sentence now.
So, you know what I'm going to say.
Why are you speaking so quietly? This is why people are complaining that you need a fucking microphone.
I'm going to get a microphone.
You try to talk really quiet, you try to be all dramatic, like, Karl, yeah, you know what I'm going to say. So I've got a microphone, you don't. Speak up. No, don't do that, that's even worse.
Right. Like, comment, subscribe, Karl.
You've done that joke before.
Well, you have.
I know, and it was better when I did it.
Oh!
Come on. I tell you what, right. How about you use some CGI to make multiple versions of me? Can that be done?
Not a bad idea.
Why not? So I guess if you want to leave a like on this video, you can do that by pressing that like button below. If you want to leave a comment, I guess. I'm not saying fuck you, subscribe. Fuck you! This is shit, why do we do this? Fuck is this guy? I love that Hugo Weaving is just like, I'm everyone. He's everyone awesome in like pop culture, and no one really realises it. He's Megatron. And do you know what the best bit about him being Megatron is? He doesn't know what a Megatron is. There's an interview with him like, so you're Megatron then, Mr. Weaving? Yeah, I guess. How was it playing this iconic character from pop culture? I don't know. It's a robot. I turned up for 3 days and recorded all my lines and went home. It's like Paul Bettany, before he played Vision, when he was just Jarvis, he said that he felt like he was stealing money from Marvel, because he said, all I'd do is I'd turn up at the end of production, sit in a studio for 3 days, record all my lines without watching the film and having any context of what they're being used for, get a big sack of money, then leave. And he says, there's a quote from him saying, I felt like a thief. And he says when he goes to Comic-Con, so people ask him all this stuff about the character, and he goes, I don't even watch the movies. Because he never watched the Iron Man movies, he wasn't interested, he just said he turned up, recorded all of his lines, having no idea what they were used for, and went home.